Shout out to everybody. So it looks like the TRINNOV community is coming at your boy. You know, a lot of these home theater enthusiasts, you know, I don't get it. I don't understand. It's kind of just like ignore issues, ignore problems, deny. Anybody says anything, bully, act like they don't know what they're talking about. Like, no, like you cannot convince me that TRINNOV altitude 32 does not have a 5 to 7 second like audio dropout. Y'all can't convince me to do it. So I'm chilling out, max and relaxed and all cool, you know, and I check out Facebook, and Facebook is a bunch of people talking in the TRINNOV community, and they got like a post of my video, and they're just like, you know, basically up in the comment section saying that, oh, well, there's not a problem. This is not a known issue. And so I just like posted like, my bad, youth man. It kind of like a comment that youth man said about it. You know what I'm saying? Like that there is like a audio dropout, like, you know, that you can, you know, that it has, you know, and then he said that he was going to stick with his AVM 70, which is his anthem, you know, so I just posted that in there, you know. What is up with the, hold up, the home theater community? It's a lot of denial. Can we keep it real in this community, please? I think this is the reason why a lot of people are being turned off by the theater community. You guys click up and tell lies. You know what I'm saying? The forums, and I get it, it's a lot of dealers out here. You know, you got CDA coming up, I'm sure I'm going to run into a couple of y'all. But you got a lot of dealers out here, and their main objective is to sell you on something. And, you know, the dealers want you to buy something that is going to have you coming back to them over and over again, which is like what I just heard TRINNOV, they did an interview, right? And this guy was asking if they were going to be at CDA. And the guy was like, yeah, I think we're going to do a little bit more dealer training. And so we got something that's coming out that, you know, is really only the dealers can really, you know, control and figure out and things like that. You know, I guess like with the update, if you update your TRINNOV and it's got like a different feature or something, but only the dealers can really like deal with it. And so it's just like this thing is becoming a money pit. Then I got people in denial about the subwoofer outs, right? And I'm like, yo, if I want to run like you know, cause like a AVM 90, you could run like 15 channels with that. You know what I'm saying? Or a AV10, you can run like 15 channels with that, and you can have like 4 subwoofer outs. Whereas on the TRINNOV Altitude 16, if you get that thing, you have to get, what is it, like a external DAC to be able to plug up additional subwoofers? That's ridiculous. After I'm spending $18,000 on a processor, I have to do that if I want to run 4 subwoofers? That's crazy. Somebody in the comment section was just like, oh, well, all you got to do, like on Facebook, all you got to do is just like hook all the subwoofers up to one subwoofer and then just run REW and it's no problem. If I'm paying $18,000 for a processor, I don't want to have to do that. Why is my Anthem AVM 90, right, capable of independently controlling 4 subwoofers? But then I have a problem where I have to get an external DAC and do all of this just to have 4 subwoofers. That's crazy. And if you want to run waveforming and adding more subwoofers, like, come on, bro. This can become very costly and tedious, right? Like even I had a Marantz Cinema 50 has 4 independent subwoofer outs, right? I got a Denon 3800H that's sitting in my like attic. I don't even use it unless something goes wrong with a processor, a receiver, and I use it in its place, right? I've got that. That's got 4 independent subwoofer outs. You know what I'm saying? You're going to run 9 channels with that thing, you know, but it's, you know, it's super inexpensive. You can get like a 3800H for like $1,600. You know, like the Cinema 50, 9 channel, you know, but it's got 4, you know, independent subwoofer outs. You know, an AV10 and an Anthem AVM 90 being able to do that, and this high cost, super expensive processor has a problem, and I'm calling it out, and y'all have a problem with that? Oh, well, nobody's gonna care about 5 to 7 seconds of audio dropout. Like, are y'all like really hearing yourself? Oh, when you go to Cydia and you watch, you go to Cedia and you listen to a TRINNOV, it doesn't have that problem. No, because when you go to Cedia, they're gonna have it hooked up to a Dune player or a Zydu player. So it's not gonna be hooked up to a Kaleidoscape, so we're switching fast. They got it to where, like, you know, you're not gonna notice the dropout. You know, so it's just like, yo, it is some serious denial in the home theater community. It is just insane. And some of these processors, we're gonna get into some of them, because I've heard some of them and I'm not impressed with some of them for the cost. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just what it is. Even the Lindorf, right? That's more musical. I'm not impressed with the Lindorf. I didn't think the Lindorf was that great to me. Like, I heard it and I was just like, you know, it's exclusive, I guess, but it's not that great. I heard a Storm processor and was like, that thing sounds good immediately. I didn't like really experience like too much of, maybe because they didn't really run that with the TRINNOV. Maybe that was the issue. You know, because I understand the higher you get and processors and things, you can have like a, you know, 1 or 2 second audio drop. Because I think the AV10 does that. It's like 1 or 2 seconds, like the Anthem AVM90, 1 or 2 seconds, you know, before the audio kicks in. Cinema 50 is immediate. You know what I'm saying? Like, those are immediate, right? But the higher end, like, you do for some reason, like, I don't know how they're going to mitigate that. That's a problem. But TRINNOVs is way beyond acceptable. You know, and this is not a hit job on TRINNOV at all, but I am not paying, even if you get it used, what, like $12,000 for a TRINNOV Altitude 16 used? You're still paying over 10 grand for something with that big of a audio dropout issue. That's a problem. Why are none of you people that are interviewing people from TRINNOV saying anything about it? Shane Lee, shout out to him. He's got like a YouTube channel. He's got like 100-some thousand subscribers, and he has people on talking about different things. He primarily promotes like people who give him free things or like give him discounts on things. Like, we all know that. Like the Power Sound audio subwoofer, you know, that he had, you know what I mean? And he did a hit job on it. And it came out that people were wondering, like, yo, like, you know, I've heard the Power Sound audio subwoofers, and I didn't experience like any bottoming out with playing Edge of Tomorrow. Like, how are you experiencing this? Was it hooked up correctly? And he just immediately ran to the, oh, everybody thinks they know everything. It's my subwoofer. I bought it. I know. And it's like, bro, we've heard Power Sound audio subwoofers. A friend of mine, he's got like, he's got iPows, right? He's got the TV 2112 iPows, and no audio, no, you know what I mean? It's not bottoming out when he plays Edge of Tomorrow, you know, and it's the same driver. Now the cabinet's different. It's got a port, you know what I mean? Maybe tuned a little bit different. Maybe he didn't have maybe Shane didn't have the dial turned to small. Maybe he just cranked it to big room or whatever. Maybe there's an issue, but he didn't even show us like really how like it was hooked up when he played like each demo. Like, so how are we gonna really know? We just gotta go off of him saying that the Power Sound audio subwoofer is bad, but he's constantly like bringing up or bigging up the RBH subwoofers, right? So like, even when I've heard a JTR subwoofer, not, you know, like a RS2 or not a 4000 ULF, nothing like that, but I've heard a JTR subwoofer, right, at Audio Advice Live. A 12-inch version was insane, right? I could only imagine what an 18-inch version of a JTR is going to sound like. And talking to Jeff is like, yo, Jeff could tell me anything. He don't know me. He's like, yo, the RS1 is like twice this, right? And, you know, everybody who heard the JTR at Audio Advice Live was just blown away. But if you listen to Shane Lee, RBH is the best. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know. I've heard a lot of subwoofers. I've heard a lot. You know what I mean? And a lot of what people are saying a lot of times are not what it is. I do not believe Power Sound Audio makes a bad subwoofer. I don't. I think they can hang with SVS, if not, you know, be better than them in some areas, right? If you're talking about mid-range to above, I think that the Power Sound Audio, a TV 2112, is going to impact you more than a PB16 or a PB17. You know, even though the PB17 may have, you know what I mean, it's, you know, it may have a better, I I think it goes a little bit lower, right? But it doesn't impact you the same as like a 21-inch driver. Sometimes like there's no replacement for displacement. You know what I mean? So it's just what it is. So, but I don't think that, you know, these companies are bad. I just think a lot of times these companies are not giving these reviewers with these big channels products for free, you know, and then they're not, you know, giving them deals and they get mad. You know what I mean? Not everybody does that, but some of them do. But, you know, shout out to SVS. They got the PB17. Maybe I'll end up buying that, reviewing or whatever, but it's got better group delay than the PB16. So I'm interested to hear the PB17, you know, in room to see what the response is. The SB17 I heard, and I was not really as impressed as I was with that JTR. I'm just telling you the truth. That 12-inch JTR, you know, to me sound better than that SB17 that I heard at Expona. You know, it's just my personal opinion. Shout out to SVS. But I don't know why they don't make 18-inch subwoofers. Maybe it's just cabinet. Maybe they don't want it to be too big. I don't know what it is, you know. But I think JTR right now is kind of where it's at when it comes to subwoofers. But you know, I haven't heard everything, but we'll see. But as far as the home theater community, we have got to stop denying things, and this is part of the problem. Why pricing is so high, right? You got a And I guess I'm picking on TRINNOV. You got TRINNOV, $18,000 altitude 16, $30-something thousand altitude 32, with these issues. And y'all are just hailing this thing as like the best. And it's got obvious issues. I don't understand that. And all they can say is TRINNOV is like, oh, well, it's got a computer and the computer's got a sync. And that's why you got a bigger delay. Then why don't you get a faster processor? Y'all ever thought of that? You know, like, but the home theater community just, you know, and I get it because people say things like on the AVS forum, like, yo, I don't understand. I say something and people just attack me for, and it's like, if you have a real opinion, that's what they say. I'm not bought off. I'm not bought off by any of these brands at all. I could tell you what I've heard, and I'm about to go into another product that I heard after this. Stop trying to bully people into submission. If people are hearing something that is not what it's supposed to be, and they make their voice known, listen to them, go hear it for yourself, and make up your own mind. You know what I mean? This is not, I don't care how big a channel is. I got another channel with 130,000 subscribers. Like, that doesn't move me that you got over 100,000 subscribers on a channel, 200,000 on a channel. Doesn't move me. You know what I mean? I want to hear real opinions of products. Kaleidoscape, for instance. Like, there's things I love about it and things I don't like about it. When have you guys heard that Kaleidoscape actually sometimes does not have the best quality? Sometimes it's DTSX and you don't have access to Atmos. You probably didn't hear that until I said something about it. And you got all these people, oh, it's just the best quality and the best, you know, everything with the Kaleidoscape. It's just so much better. Yeah, a lot of movies are going to look better on a Kaleidoscape or sound better on a Kaleidoscape. But you don't always have the access to the best versions of the movie on there. But Shane's not going to tell you that. These people aren't going to tell you that because they want these people to come onto their channels and do interviews. That's what it is. You know, and it's like at a certain point, the consumer has to be above everything else. You know what I mean? And you have to talk to people who are actually going to get these things in their hands and use them or listen to them. You know, but yeah, the TRINNOV community, the home theater community, everybody need to chill out because your boy's here now. And he gonna keep it real with you. You know, the altitude 16, I think it's, people call it in-game. I think it could do a lot in terms of calibration, but is it an in-game for me? No, because I'm not buying something that has a 5 to 7 second and sometimes 10 seconds audio dropout before the audio starts. I'm not doing it. You know what I'm saying? Until they fix that. And if a software update could fix it, they probably would have pushed it out by now. And they haven't. You know what I mean? When I started being vocal, and I don't know if this is why Kaleidoscape did it, right? When I started being vocal and going to these places like the Audio Advice Lives, and I'm talking to these people at Kaleidoscape, I'm like, hey, there is an issue with this HDMI. Like, it's not, you know what I mean? It's not that good. You know, the HDMI, it's just, you know, sometimes you get handshake issues. Now they're pushing out an update. They don't do updates that often for a Kaleidoscape. Your boy running his mouth and they start updating stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. Maybe they were seeing what I was saying on the ABS forum, maybe on Facebook, or maybe like me emailing them or something. Or maybe it's just like they just got too many complaints and now they're doing something about it. But if y'all sit there and don't say anything about issues that, and I know people don't want to feel like they got buyer's remorse. You bought something that may not be super ideal, but, you know, a lot of people can't afford it. So some of the things that's wrong with it, people won't know. You know, and then you don't want people to think you just bought something that's really expensive that may not be what people think it is. And they question your judgment in purchasing it. So there's all kind of reasons why people don't want to, you know, admit things in home theater. This channel was not to bash everything that comes out. There's going to be some good products out and it's going to be some bad products out. But at the end of the day, if we are the consumers and we're keeping home theater moving, we're buying everything, you know, we need to get our money's worth. You know, a lot of these guys are retiring, like home theater enthusiasts and hi-fi users. They're retiring. Their hearing's not as good as it used to be. I've seen people do reviews on how good something sounds and seen them at Audio Advice Live complaining that they can't hear certain things because their hearing is not the same. But yet do a video and tell you what sounds good. You know, it's something to think about. You know what I mean? But I don't know. Y'all tell me what y'all think. We're going to talk about this Marantz AV10 that I heard, and then we're going to talk about AV20 that I heard. But I'm out. Comment, rate, subscribe. Let me know what y'all think about that. Peace.